Everyone, it's Ike Paz, and today I have a very special guest. I have Amy Harrop. She's also, like myself, a fellow printable seller. She has a unique twist on things. She goes way beyond just the baby shower niche, going into different types of party printables. And actually, if you want to learn more about her method on how she makes and sells party printables, make sure you check out the information below. But without further ado, I want to introduce you to Amy. Amy, how you doing?
Hi, Ike. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. I love having fellow printable sellers, especially successful ones. Can you tell us, just for people who are just tuning in for the first time, what is a printable?
Well, a printable in many cases is a digital download. Think of a PDF. And it a lot of times is some sort of paper or page. It could be a couple pages, one page, or even a bit longer. And it can be used like a tool to accomplish a lot of things. So one of the things I think that's exciting about printables and kind of in content in general is that there's been a lot of disruption. You know, it used to be, you mentioned baby shower. It used to be you'd have to go to your local store or go to a printer and customize and get these things and wait for them a couple weeks. Or you would have to get some just super generic looking, printable if you were holding some sort of party or something. And nowadays you can simply go online and find a wide variety of really cool printables to meet your needs.
That's right. And like you were saying, a lot of disruption on the customer's end, but also on our end. A lot of us, people who are watching this channel, know of Canva. Very easy for us to create one of those printables nowadays. And that's something I've been preaching for a long time. And relatively speaking, to other forms of making money online, selling printables is much, much easier. Wouldn't you say so?
I would say so. You know, I got my start helping people create and sell content online, written content. I'm also a former English teacher, so I have a background in writing. But once I saw that the sort of the low content opportunities available for low content products like journals and planners, and then even, other types of products like printables, I really pivoted because I realized that this was a great opportunity for people to get involved. And like you said, there's some great tools like Canva and PowerPoint where you do not have to have massive design skills or any design skills really to be able to create these.
Very cool. And you're talking about printables, but we'll be focusing more on and to more what you do and what I do as well, party printables. Can you
Yes.
elaborate more on those, please?
Sure. My training coming out here is called Easy Party Printables, and what's exciting about this is that it really um, includes complete training, but also implementation. So it's a look at what's involved in why people buy party printables. And one of the things I realized when I was researching is that people spend in general over almost $1,500 a year on party stuff, and they have a variety of parties. And with more people gathering in person, we are seeing more different types of parties making a comeback. So there's all types of parties. There's parties for celebrations like holidays. There's milestone parties like weddings, baby showers, graduations, anniversaries. There's, other types of parties, like I said, holidays as well, birthdays. One of the ones that's become popular now in the US has been like Super Bowl parties, for example. So there's just a really huge marketplace out there for these types of printables.
That's right. And one of the things I'm really excited about right now, you see, before I used to preach more on selling your printables off of your own site because of Etsy back in the day, not now. And I'm going to explain this a little bit. Back in the day, printables and the printable vendors, they were driving the price of these printables way, way, way down. But for some reason, perhaps it's because of COVID, the prices are going up for us, which is a good thing for us vendors. And I was like looking at some wall art printables. This is just one printable, right? Like one sheet. It's $9, $8, which is great news, especially for those who are website averse, wouldn't you say?
Very much so. I mean, and I always encourage people to get started with Etsy first because If you have your own website, I think that can be a building block for later. It's always nice to own your properties, but because Etsy already gets a lot of built-in traffic and shoppers and repeat buyers, it's a really great place to start because it's easy to get started. As you know, you just pay a very low listing fee. You don't have to pay anything else up front unless you make a sale. And, the buyers are there. So it's a really great place to start, I think.
Yeah, it's cool. And like I was mentioning a second ago, the price of the printables have gone up. The market has gone up. So yeah,
Yeah.
again, and like you said, websites, it's a building block for later on, perhaps if you're just starting out. And I learned a lot. First thing I must say, your PDF, your worksheets, your bonuses is huge. This is a fountain of knowledge here. You have a 94-page PDF. You have several video trainings that accompany it. You got bonuses. You got worksheets. Templates? Am I missing out?
No, you're right. It is comprehensive. I really pride myself on over delivering and helping people get started. And what's I'm excited about this is it does have all that training. And then in addition to that, it does have done for you templates. And for the first time now, I'm including them not only just in PowerPoint, but also Canva, because I know you mentioned Canva as well. So people can access them in either one that they want. And then there's also complete videos to show people how to make easy edits and changes as well. So
Okay.
it really is, the PDF guide goes into why you should get involved with this particular niche, how to get started, what are some of the popular types of printables to create in this niche, and how to get traffic as well, because I think that's also really important too. And then we also have some, supplementary training to really just get people to go. Because, I mean, one of the things I've realized over the years is that you don't want to just shove a mountain of information at people. I mean, you need to have that content there, but then it's also really good to have implementation strategies so people can take what you're putting together and actually go and use it.
That's right. You want to build that bridge to action. You want
Right,
to
right.
make it as easy as possible for people who are listening to us right now. People who want to get started online. There's a lot of self-imposed roadblocks, and some of them are real. Some of them are technical. But with printables, and like you've laid out in your course, they're not, because you've set up a nice bridge to get people to act and actually start earning online. We're not making any promises here, but when it comes to earning online, I think printables is a very newbie friendly method to do so. And like to what you said, Etsy has its own buyer traffic. This is a buyer search engine. People who are using Etsy are looking to buy something. It's not like Google, and perhaps on Google the keyword is self-evident, but with Google it can be they want to get so they want to get educated, entertained, they want to buy something. Who knows? Etsy, people want to buy, which is really cool. So you get that built-in traffic. You have a very small listing fee. You mentioned, is that right?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember. I think, isn't it like 2 cents or 5 cents or something? There's like a per listing fee. And then after that, you just pay, when you sell it. So it's great because then you're not really out of pocket. In fact, getting started selling these, the only investment would be the investment in the course. And then just once you get your products up, the listing fee, because I'm providing the training and the templates. So there's very little involved, unlike a traditional business where you have to invest a lot of money, or even some of the other online types of opportunities where you still have to do like a lot of training and coaching and technical stuff. Like you said, with the printables opportunity, it's great for people who are just getting started or want to add in an additional income stream because of that.
That's right. No websites, no email marketing, no website design, no off-page SEO. There is on-page SEO, and there are keywords, and you go into that in great detail. Some party ideas that I never thought of. If you can give away just a niche, two niches at least for our viewers, like you mentioned, Super Bowl printables a little bit ago. Is there anything else that's exciting you right now with in terms of printable
Well, one of
parties?
the things I think is fun is, like with you mentioned baby showers, but I also think also wedding showers and games. I think game printables are really fun because they, people are excited to buy them and get them and use them. And so I do go into different types of game printables that you can use as well for different events, which I think is really fun.
Okay, weddings, Super Bowls, and you're talking about Super Bowl printables. That has to do with what's that game? Not that game. The thing we do in the States, fantasy football. Is that has to do with printables, or so? Is that something different? I don't know.
So that's different because you're pretending to play football. But with like Super Bowl printables, and for a lot of these, like a bingo style type game, where if something happens when you're watching or attending, like, then you put a thing on your card, for example. You can also do things that have, friendly rivalries, especially if it's something like where you're seeing the two teams play. Anything like that is great, because I don't know if you've ever been to like a party where people just sit around and don't say anything. It can be really boring. So when you get these, printables like this that encourage people to interact and have fun and maybe even compete a bit with each other, it can take a party from really boring to pretty memorable.
You just hit the exact sales angle I use on my baby shower site. Is don't bore your guest. You want to excite your guests. You want to make sure your guests having a good time. You need these games. Exactly. Yeah. So really important sales angle there. And that's a really important, if you're watching this, guys, if you're still with us, I should say, that's a great sales angle when it comes to party printable games. You want to lead with that. You want to hit that pain point. Don't bore your guests. You want to have a fantastic party. Get these games. Really important to remember. One of the cool things I got a lot out of your course is the Etsy part, especially Etsy Pro. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh, with Etsy Pro? Well, Etsy definitely gives you some more tools that you can use with them. I mean, one of the things I like about Etsy is that it's available right out of the gate you can use, and then they have some additional seller tools as well that you can plug into. One of the things that I think is really neat too, and you don't necessarily need to be a member of Etsy Pro, is that they will advertise your listings for you, which I think is really cool. That they will get that out there on, and you mentioned Google, you can show up on Google with your Etsy listing, because Etsy is actually promoting your stuff on your behalf, which I think is really neat.
Just to make sure, when you say promote, not in a sponsored way, not like in that top column and that top row, or where exactly?
Well, they're kind of vague about how they do it, so they don't really go into super details, but they do actually, they actually will promote your stuff, like actually advertise listings and stuff like that, Cool. And for the Etsy Plus, you actually can, they do give you a few more different things. You can get shop customization options, and they do also offer the paid Etsy ads as well, which is something you can pay for to show up on Etsy, and they'll give you some credits for that. And a lot of sellers do use Etsy ads. I don't necessarily recommend them like right out of the gate. You want to get your stuff optimized, as you mentioned, on page SEO. But it can be, it can be helpful once you've sort of dialed in your store a little bit more and things like that.
Okay, cool. And that's sound advice. You don't have to jump into the advertising pool right away. Why not let your printable cook on Etsy? And like you said, they're going to promote your printable, however they do it. I mean, perhaps I imagine they have like a rotator for related queries, and your printable might show up for that. But going back to the subject of SEO or on-page SEO, do you have any tips for people watching today on how to best optimize their Etsy listing?
Yeah, you want to really have a mix of good long tail keywords, and it doesn't necessarily matter the order that they're in. Other things you can do is make sure that you're using the keywords or tags, as they're called on Etsy, in your title as well. So your tags and your title of your printable should be very similar with that. And one of the things that can help is using a tool. It's not necessarily something you need to get right out of the gate, but it can do some of the work for you in terms of seeing what types of long tail keywords people are searching for. And I do go over some of the tool options in the training. But like a lot of things, you want to get that sort of sweet spot where you're getting some traffic, but you're not necessarily, you're not too general. So for example, you might have like kids party printables, but you probably would want to go a little more specific. Like I think one of the examples I talk about is pirate, pirate party, kids pirate party printable. So, that way, if you have a pirate themed printable set for parties, it's going to show up much more specifically in the search engines, and you're going to get those people who are, or in, the Etsy internal. So you're going to get those people who are looking for that.
Very, it's a self-evident product. People understand it's kids, but it's pirate kids. So, you know exactly what to put on your printable. Some guy or some gal with an eye patch and a fancy hat, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you just go with kids party printables, your printables are going to get buried underneath other results. So it's good to be specific. They do give you a variety of tags you can use, and it is better to be able to show up more in those specific searches.
Wonderful. Cool. Very good stuff. In your opinion, how many printables a bundle? Would you have like 10 printables in a bundle, or in a party pack? How many?
I think it depends what it is. One of the things I also wanted to mention with party printables is it doesn't necessarily need to be like a full page PDF printout. It can also be things like toppers and name cards and placeholders and party hats and things like that. So you can actually have elements of your party from printables instead of having to go out and buy them, which I think is really cool. For a bundle, then it's just, you might want to have maybe a couple of each. Like maybe you'll have a party hat, a topper. Like if you're doing you can do also like a cupcake or cake toppers, name settings, and then maybe, some game ones. So, it kind of depends. I mean, you can do as little as maybe like 5 or like 10 or 25, kind of, depending on what you want to go with.
That makes sense. So you're thinking of like an actual 3D object that you create that your buyer prints out and puts together. Like one thing that I used to sell, they kind of fallen off for me on my site, are dice, for baby shower games, where they have to fold it in a certain way and tape it, and you have like you'd have a cube. It's really cool. So yeah, there's all kinds of things, not just games, that you can sell with printables, which your course alludes to. And one of the cool things about your course is I see there's a lot of case studies, like a good amount.
Yeah, I like to show people, what other people are doing to be successful, because, you don't want to slavishly imitate anybody else's printables. That's just a bad idea all around. But it's good to see what people are doing well, what people are selling, and how they're packaging it. So you can use that for inspiration. And it's also, why reinvent the wheel? Why don't you, take and extract best practices from what people are already doing, and then use that as your foundation instead of, just wandering around in the dark and throwing stuff at the wall. It just makes it easier to be successful, I think.
That's right. You should have a marketer's point of view first. If you're artistically inclined, that's great. I know I'm not. Are you?
No.
No, not at all. Okay, so we're on the same boat. I think have that marketing perspective. Why reinvent the wheel? Like you said, you want to get inspired by what's already working and try to produce something along those lines to hopefully, convert traffic into sales. That free buyer's traffic on Etsy into sales, which is cool. So what price point do you usually start okay, of course you have different types of printables. Let's say for example, myself, I usually sell my baby shower printable game sets at 12 a bundle. And I really, before the pandemic, it was at $11.50. During the pandemic, I slashed it to like $5.50. I'm going to raise it back up the more, because baby showers have been hit, particularly because, people can't hang out anymore. But that's getting better and better, and there's more opportunity now for it. So I'm going to increase it to $11.50. What would you say is a good price point? For example, a bundle of 12 printables.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can go anywhere from probably 10 to 11 to even 14 to 15 if you're it's in demand. And then single printables, you can go I mean, I don't think anything less than $1 is good, but $1 to $3, I think, for a single printable, and then going up to even $2 per printable, depending on the demand and what you're doing and things like that. So
okay, so 10 to even 14 with bundles,
yeah.
nothing under $1, $3 perhaps for single sheets. Great information. Any conversion tactics besides the one we mentioned? Any other conversion techniques you can give us today?
I think offering bundles is good. Having really clear FAQs is good, so people can see everything that they have. You can get a little into customization options if you want, but that is more work, in terms of getting feedback from people and then customizing it. Down the road, you can also utilize like your About Me to maybe offer something for free to help build an email list. You can also include a bonus when people buy something from you, or a coupon for a future discount. So yeah, there's lots of cool stuff you can do to get repeat buyers and have people come back and to grow your business.
Cool. And what dimension size for your printable games do you usually stick to? I usually stick to 8 by 5 by 11 letters, US letter size. How about yourself?
Yeah, US letter size. And sometimes for other types of printables, you can offer, various page sizes, which can be a selling point. So you could have European letter and American letter, it just kind of depends what it is. I mean, if it's a printable where you're making a party hat or something, obviously it's just going to be one dimension. And I think sticking to standard letter size is fine. But I know sometimes with things that are more involved, like planners and ledgers and stuff, sometimes people offer them at various page sizes. So I think it just kind of depends on what it is that you're doing.
Okay. Is there any other trend finding tools you use? I know you mentioned a piece of software earlier, but nothing paid. Is there any other free ways outside of Etsy?
Yeah, there's a couple. I mean, I do like paid tools. I think both Marmalade and eRank, but eRank does have a free section. So, you can use that. I think their free section's a little more comprehensive than Marmalade's free section. I think it's called Keyword Tools.
Everywhere.
Keywords.io. Keywords.io is good. If you're looking at, or Keyword Tools.io. Sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head, but there are some free tools that I go into the training, which you can use for keyword search and things like that. But I do think, and one of the ones I used to really like a lot that they don't do anymore is Craft Count. That was a really good free tool for Etsy stores.
Craft Count.
Yeah, Craft Count, but that's not around anymore, unfortunately. So I think, you can use some generic keyword tools, and then I would suggest using the free tools at eRank. And then if somebody is ready to invest in a keyword tool, either eRank or Marmalade's paid tools are good too, just because they are designed more specifically for Etsy.
Okay, very good. Thank you. A very detailed answer. Do you use anything off-site, off Etsy to help you with rankings or with your SEO?
I mean, some people, and one of the things I do use is Pinterest. Pinterest is probably the number one. I mean, people call it social media, but it's not really. It's more like a visual search engine. And that's probably the best exterior one to use for publicizing printables and things like that. And then another option that some people like is a blog, like having a blog with content and then having that go to your Etsy store. But I think using Pinterest can be a good next step, sort of going outside of Etsy.
Yeah, I teach Pinterest. Pinterest is my main traffic source for Print My Baby Show. That's my site. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Our demographic, our target audience, they're all over Pinterest. They're all over Etsy, and especially in the baby shower niche, it converts very well that way. That Pinterest traffic, it just lends itself. Okay, cool. I think we got all the information out of you. But yeah, thank you very much, Amy. It's been a pleasure having you here. Anything you want to say to the people watching?
I would just say dive in. It's a fun business model. It's fun and it's easy to get started with. So, if you've been thinking about it, go ahead and take a chance.
Yeah, guys, if you want to learn about party planners and how Amy does it. Sorry, Party Printables and planners as well, and other types of printables. If you want to learn how Amy profits online on Etsy, check out the information below. I have all the details you need to know. Thank you very much, Amy. Is there a YouTube channel people can find you on?
Yeah, if you search for Amy Harrop, you'll find me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I usually release a short video a week covering a variety of topics. So, I cover things like Etsy, but I also cover things like public domain and using graphics and just different types of content that, to grow your business. Very cool. Thank you very much, Amy. Have a great day. And guys, take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Be good. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.